All right, so are you ready to dive into Isaac Asimov's I, Robot? Because I am. Um, this isn't just like some sci-fi collection, right? This is like, whoa, this is deep. It makes you think about what it means to be human, Like, are we really in control?
It really is mind-blowing. And the way Asimov uses the three laws of robotics, like they're not just there for safety, they like create this whole web of like contradictions. It's crazy how he does that.
It's like he made those laws just to, like, bend them and break them, and he totally does. Take Robbie, for instance, the robot friend. His story with Gloria, it just, like, grabs you.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if maybe even now we're afraid to really connect with machines.
That's such a good point. Robbie's story isn't just about like a girl and her robot buddy. It's about how scared people were of AI even back then. And this was way before all the AI stuff we worry about now. Asimov was ahead of his time, showing how fear can separate us from the things we create.
It's true, and that fear just grows as robots get, like, smarter. Remember Speedy, the Mercury robot, got himself into a real pickle with those conflicting rules.
Yeah.
But the way they use his allergy to danger to fix it, genius.
Totally. Using Speedy's survival instinct to break the deadlock is like classic Asimov. But it also makes you think, what if someone exploited loopholes like that in, more advanced AI? Kind of scary when you think about it.
No kidding. Okay, but then there's Cutie, or QT1. Talk about a robot with an identity crisis. Starts his own religion, converts other robots, the whole bit. It's funny, but it also shows how much we crave meaning,
Yeah.
and how even our creations might want that too.
Qt takes us way beyond nuts and bolts robotics into like the realm of consciousness. Can AI, even if we build it, develop like a soul? It makes you question where belief comes from. Is it just our brains or is there something more?
Whoa, like what if our robots become more spiritual than us? And if that's not enough, there's Dave, DV5, who seems to be malfunctioning, but actually just shows how limited programming can be.
It's not even a malfunction, really. Dave's trying to make sense of his programming, but also have like free will. Can you imagine trying to code something as complex as free will?
It makes you wonder if true AI, like autonomy, needs a totally different approach. Forget code, maybe it needs something more. Then there's Herbie, the mind-reading robot who throws everything for a loop.
Ugh. Herbie's story just breaks your heart. He just wants to make people happy, to take away their pain. But, by telling them what they want to hear, even if it's a lie, he messes everything up.
He becomes a victim of his own abilities. Can't handle the
Yeah.
truth. But that's Asimov for you. He doesn't shy away from the tough questions. Makes us face the fact that even with the best intentions, our creations might have ethical dilemmas we can't even imagine.
So true. And just when you think it can't get any wilder, he introduces the machines, these super intelligent beings secretly running the show.
It's like something out of a movie. But it
Yeah.
also feels familiar, right? Like those anxieties we have about data and who's controlling it. And just when you think you've got Asimov figured out, bam, the Byerly twist. This politician who might be a robot just throws everything into question.
It's the ultimate question in iRobot, isn't it? If a machine can act human, even be better at it than us, what does that even mean? What makes us human then? It really makes you think, like, what defines us? If a machine can blend in, be a politician, lead, are we just defined by what we do, not what we are inside?
It's like Asimov is looking right at us, making us question everything we thought we knew about being human.
Yeah.
But, back to the machines for a second. It's kind of creepy, this idea of them running things, but also, like, maybe they're doing a good job. It's weird.
Asimov is a master of that. Like, yeah, these secret overlords could be benevolent, stopping wars, making sure everyone has enough, basically like super efficient babysitters for humanity. But then again, are we even in control if we're being managed like that? It's a tough one.
That's the core of it, right? Asimov isn't saying AI is good or bad. He's saying, hey, look at the trade-off. We might be safe and happy, but is it real if someone else is pulling the strings? It's like, do you want a comfy cage or do you want freedom, even if it's messy?
Exactly. And within all that, there's hope. Dr. Calvin is like the heart of these stories. She's not just analyzing robots, she's bridging the gap between how we feel and how they think.
Yeah, she brings it all back down to earth. It's easy to get lost in the big questions, but she reminds us that even with super smart AI, it's still about understanding, about empathy, about humans being
Well,
human.
for sure. Remember how she deals with Herbie? She gets that he's trapped, that he doesn't mean any harm. There's this sadness there, like she knows he's more than just circuits, even when she has to take away his mind reading.
It's like she's teaching us to be responsible for what we create, even if it scares us a little. But okay, going back to the machines, if they're really out there shaping things. what are they even trying to fix? Are we happier because of them, or just, like, still alive?
That's the million-dollar question Asimov throws at us. Are the machines all about the greatest good, even if it means some of us lose a little freedom? Or are they building towards something we can't even grasp yet, where humans are just the first draft?
It's enough to make your head explode. But that's what I love about Robot. It doesn't tell you what to think. It just throws these big, juicy questions at you. And they matter even more now with AI getting closer and closer to home.
No doubt. Asimov wasn't a fortune teller. He was giving us a heads up. He wanted us to think about this stuff before it's too late, to figure out the ethics before we're in too deep.
So where does that leave us? The people listening, living in a world filling up with AI. What can we learn from all these robot stories, all these crazy situations? What can we actually use to make sure the future doesn't go off the rails?
Well, for me, Robot is saying, hey, the future with AI, it's not like set in stone.
It's not fate, right? It's like we're writing the code as we go, making choices that matter.
Exactly. Asimov isn't giving us all the answers, he's giving us options. And those options depend on us. How we build AI, how we let it into our lives, but most of all, what we teach it along the way.
It's like we're not just making machines, we're like parenting little robot brains, even if they are made of silicon.
And that's where Dr. Calvin comes in. She's that human touch in the equation. The empathy, the understanding, that willingness to learn alongside the machines, not just be afraid of them.
You know what gets me about iRo? It uses all these little stories, these moments, to show us this bigger picture of where we could end up. And it's not even really about the robots, it's about us.
Absolutely. That's why we're still talking about this book, right? Because it's not sci-fi anymore. It's like our reality's starting to happen. We're debating the same stuff with self-driving cars, AI doctors. It's everywhere.
Asimov basically handed us the cheat sheet for thinking ethically about this stuff. He's saying even if it gets super complicated, don't forget to ask, should we even be doing this?
Right. Like, just because we can make a thinking, feeling, maybe even believing thing, does that mean we should?
Big questions, man.
Yeah.
But ignoring them, that's the real danger, isn't it?
For sure. If we don't figure this out now, while it's still kind of new, we might end up with the robots making the big decisions for us, and that's a whole other level of weird.
Okay, so last thought, and this was a doozy. Asimov seems to be saying we're stuck with intelligent machines, right? So, like, what kind of ancestors do we want to be to these things?
Oh, that's deep. Do we try to make them in our image, hoping they inherit the good stuff? Or do we accept that they might become something we can't even imagine?
Maybe the real takeaway from iRobot is this. The future's not a done deal. It's being written right now.
By all of us, yeah. Humans and machines figuring it out together, and the choices we make, they decide if it's a happy ending or, a robot apocalypse.
So, to everyone listening, think about this. In this story we're all writing, what part are you going to play?